Adi, I keep hearing about this word Minzu in Chinese history. Isn't that just nation? Why was it such a big deal back then?
Great question. Minzu actually means more than just nation. It's about national identity, almost like a mix between people and clan. And get this, it wasn't even a Chinese word at first. It was borrowed from Japanese, and the guy who brought it into Chinese was a reformer named Liang Qichao. But here's the wild part. This new idea of Minzu totally changed how people thought about what it meant to be Chinese.
Wait, so before that, people didn't think of themselves as one big nation?
Not really. For centuries, people in China mostly identified with their region, their family, or their dynasty. The idea of a unified Chinese nation, like we think of nations today, was pretty new. Liang Qichao and others started pushing this idea in the late 1800s, right when China was facing huge pressure from foreign powers and internal chaos.
That's so interesting. So, was Yang Qichao the only one pushing for change?
He was a big voice, but not the only one. There was also Sun Yat-sen, who you might have heard of. He's sometimes called the father of modern China. Sun was actually a Cantonese anti-Qing activist, and he thought monarchy and democracy just couldn't mix. But he also realized most people in China weren't ready for full-on democracy, so he wanted to introduce it in stages.
I've heard Sun Yat-sen's name, but what made him so famous?
Oh, you'll love this. Sun became an international celebrity in 1896 when Qing officials in London kidnapped him and tried to ship him back to China. It caused a huge scandal. After that, he founded the Revolutionary Alliance in 1905, and he popularized the phrase Zhonghua Minzu, which basically means the Chinese nation, but with a sense of ancient glory.
So, this was about more than just politics, it was about identity?
Exactly. They wanted people to feel proud of being Chinese, not just loyal to a dynasty. Even symbols changed. The dragon, which used to mean imperial power, started to stand for all of Chinese civilization.
Were there any women involved in these movements? Or was it all just men?
Actually, some of the most radical revolutionaries were women. The most famous was Jin. She unbound her feet, left her arranged marriage, dressed as a man, and fought for both women's rights and the end of the Qing Dynasty. She was caught and executed in 1907, but she became a legend.
That's incredible. Did she have allies?
True, definitely. One of her friends was Tang Chunying, the daughter of a Qing general. She was a hardcore suffragette, trained with Russian anarchists, learned bomb making, and became the first female member of Sun Yat-sen's Revolutionary Alliance.
That's wild. So, this movement was about more than just overthrowing the emperor? It was about changing society?
Totally. They wanted to modernize China in every way. Politics, rights, even fashion.
Fashion?
Yes, why? The queue, that long braided ponytail men had to wear, became a symbol of resistance. Overseas Chinese students were mocked for it, and modernizers said it was dangerous for factory work and military training. Sun Yat-sen cut his off, and even a young Mao Zedong did too.
Wait, Mao Zedong? As in the future leader of Communist China?
The very same. He was just a teenager then, but it shows how deep these changes went.
So what finally brought down the Qing Dynasty?
It was a mix of things, but a big turning point came in 1908. The emperor, Guangxu, died suddenly. Turns out, he was probably poisoned. The Empress Dowager Cixi died just 4 days later. There's still debate about who did it, but their deaths left a power vacuum.
Who took over after that?
A 3-year-old boy named Puyi became emperor. He cried through his whole coronation. Not exactly a strong leader for a crumbling empire.
That sounds like a disaster waiting to happen.
Exactly. In 1911, there were military uprisings in Guangzhou and Wuhan. The Qing court finally gave up, and in February 1912, they announced Puyi's abdication. Just like that, 2,000 years of dynastic rule ended, and the Republic of China was born.
That's such a huge shift from empire to republic and from dynasty to nation. But why does this story matter for us now?
Because the whole debate about national identity, democracy, and who gets to belong, that's still going on today. in China, but also everywhere. Look at how countries argue about what it means to be truly part of the nation, or who gets rights and recognition.
Yeah, it reminds me of debates about citizenship or even movements for women's rights and social change now.
Exactly. And the way symbols get redefined, like the dragon back then, or flags and slogans today, is all about shaping identity and power. Understanding how China went from dynasty to nation helps us see how those same struggles play out now, just in different forms.
So, the fight over what it means to be a nation or who gets included isn't just history, it's still happening.
Absolutely. Whether it's debates over democracy, national identity, or social change, we're still asking the same questions. History doesn't repeat, but it sure does rhyme.
I guess next time I see a news story about protests or national debates, I remember how deep those roots go.
That's the power of history. It helps us make sense of today's world. Thanks for being curious, Anu.
Thanks for the story, Adi. That's it for today's episode on Fun Learn Talks, where stories from business, technology, and history keep your curiosity alive. If you enjoyed the journey, make sure to follow, rate, or share it with a fellow curious mind. And hey, we'd love to hear from you. Drop a comment or connect with us online. I'm Anu, and I'll catch you next time, right here on Fun Learn Talks. Until then, keep learning, keep wondering.